Okay. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, September 5th, 2025, and the time is 9:03 a.m. This is the Contract Review Committee. My name is Veronica Bolchuk, Chair. And the first thing I'd like to do is establish quorum. So up on the screen, I see Lee Tesser. We'll come back to Lee. All righty, Suzanne Keating,
Here.
Joanna Roach.
Here.
I see Lee Tesser again,
He's muted.
muted. And John Belesh.
Lee is unmuted. I think you can.
Can't hear you, John. Unmute. All right, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, there I am.
Okay, very good. And Lee Tesser?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you. All right.
Right.
And myself, Veronica, we do have quorum.
We have
This
one
is, hold
other-
on a second.
Yeah,
I keep, every time I go into Zoom on this stupid town website now, I'm coming in as owner. You're gonna have to
I can-
change the name.
I can change that for you.
Every single time now. I don't understand it. I don't like this new system. But that's what it says.
Okay. It's been changed. It's changed on our end. So Linda Williams?
Here.
Okay, wonderful. So we have 6 in attendance, we have quorum. And from town administration in the trailer, we have Alexandra Richards.
Here.
And Jericho Maley,
In attendance.
okay? And I don't see anyone up on the screen as public. So we have no one else with us at the moment. Can I have a motion to accept the agenda?
I'll move, Madam Chair.
Can I have a second?
Second,
All righty. Because this meeting is being done in a hybrid fashion, all votes need to be done by roll call. So can I start with Suzanne,
Here.
Joanna,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes,
John,
yes,
Linda?
Yes.
Myself, thank you. Next is public comment, but we have no public at the moment, so we'll move on to an update on the funding request for fiscal year 27. The letter had been sent to town administration, to Libby Gibson, and she forwarded it on to the select board, and I will give you the Reader's Digest version. It appears that pending town meeting, which it always is, I think that we are ready to go with 650 for the human services side of our grants and 175 for substance misuse, which is basically level funding that we've had. Also, we talked about putting a mechanism in place for increases over the next years, and so far it was embraced very well. Jericho, can you add something to that?
Yeah, basically, we are okay to communicate to the public that the expected totals are 650 and 175K. The latter is going to be the substance misuse grant, which is probably going to be drawn from a combination of cannabis taxes and whatever opioid settlement money comes in over the course of the year. So we can and are going to announce when we are at the event next week that we're doing 650 for this category, 175 for the other. And then we are encouraged to include this in the budgetary process for next year so that it will be, so over the course of the fall, I'll be trying to include what next year's total may be.
Right.
So
So just to clarify that this amount for grants will be included in the human services grant, budget.
So
So it'll become a line item in your budget.
that I'm uncertain of. I believe that changing the location of the finance and its approval method would require a bylaw change. I don't, it just means that they're incorporating the request into my EIR process. I don't know that it'll be because I also can do, budgetary requests for non-light, like we have a couple of grants or a couple of contractor programs can be funded from a variety of different funding sources. I cannot explicitly, I don't explicit, there wasn't enough explicit. There was just information about how to request for next year's,
Right.
as opposed to where it will lie in the financial system. I don't know how that's gonna go.
Okay.
So I don't wanna
Elaborate on that then.
yeah,
Okay.
basically.
All right, but it sounds as if the process is going to be institutionalized.
Yes.
Okay, as opposed to, every year, how much will we have and waiting, et cetera. So, and of course, everything with the caveat that it depends on town meeting and approval.
Yep.
All right, okay. Any comments or on the subject? Questions? All right,
It's basically what we asked for.
right.
Yeah.
Right, so, thank you, everyone, I know it was a long time in putting it together and getting it out there, but I think it's, we've done the right thing, so. And I think that also comes back to just, tangential, our last meeting is when we met with Brian Turbot, and that was, I found it extremely helpful in just understanding the process and also in, I think he answered and gave us very good direction on how we could move forward with making some changes in the process. So, I do want to, I have thanked him, with a thank you email, but I publicly want to thank him for, participating in our meeting and answering our questions, and so, thank you. On to the next thing. Review of draft grant applications for Town of Nantucket. I say capacity grants here, and I noticed that, we actually call it an organizational
I
grant.
think operational.
Operational?
Yeah.
Operational grant.
I think that will make things clearer in the bookkeeping, basically. I
Mhm.
think, because capacity implies that it must be, there are certain implications on that word. I think when we're communicating, we use the term either capacity grant or operational grant interchangeably. It's just
Mhm.
for the document and for the official name of the grant. That makes more sense in how I have it laid out in the
Okay.
bookkeeping.
All right. So, what grew out of our last few meetings, there will be 3 separate RFPs, and I believe everyone should have gotten them yesterday. It's been a couple of weeks in, hammering these things out, and, do want to thank Jericho for, embracing this and, going at it with gusto. So everyone has had those, just for a short period of time, and I don't expect that everyone has had the opportunity to comb through it. But, as I said, 3 different RFPs, operational, which is what we were calling capacity, that, what's gonna be important for this is, we've called it a cheat sheet, but basically, are you eligible for a operational grant? And step 1, 2, and 3, that's an operational grant. Second would be our program grant, which has been what we historically have just been calling the human services grant. And then the third is substance misuse grant. And because of the nature of the funding source, that has to remain as a separate grant. And it basically is the program grant that we've been using all along. But that's all I think I have to say on that right now. A
I
great
could-
deal of time was put into looking at the rubric or the criteria, because we all expressed frustration, I think, in the last cycle of it just didn't hit the mark. And a great deal of effort went into that. And I do want to thank, I had a volunteer with Sarah Wright, who is on Council for Human Services. She did a deep dive along, and I had looked at some additional criteria, and we've been going back and forth with Jericho, and he pretty well summarized. And do you want to take it and just go through those different categories?
Yeah, so just briefly, we split the grant application into three. Aside from the substance misuse has to be a separate thing because of the way that the funding is sourced. There's a combination of recreational cannabis tax money and opioid impact, which are both use limited by the laws that establish the collection method. So that has to be kept a completely separate thing to make sure that we don't commingle funds in a way that would be bad. The programming fund is the one that we've been doing for this whole time. There's a few tweaks to the rubrics. I think, John, you're gonna be a lot happier with this one. It's better constructed.
I haven't had a chance yet to look at it, but
Feel free to take, I understand people didn't want to spend their Thursday evening reading grant rubrics, so I'm perfectly okay with that. But I think this one will be a little bit easier to use, and I think we'll also do a discussion of it, to kind of go through the rubric thing, so you know what the intent of the measure is. And then finally, the operational or capacity grant. The main reason I wanted to use operation instead of capacity is so that the grant is useful in a larger variety of ways, and there's no connotation of needing to expand services in order to access this. But that will be there. I spoke with Brian about whether we can limit the award to 100,000 with no problem. Obviously, that wasn't an issue. Then I had some wording issues, is not to exceed, which means that we can award up to $100,000 in a single grant agreement. And I think we should not allow programming and operational applications on the same. I think you need one for each other, but we can get into that slightly afterwards. And the operational grant has one additional rubric question that's designed to allow us to have basically a minimum scale to access this grant, because the way the operational grant or capacity grant works, it was hard to figure out why anyone would apply for a programming grant if there was a broader category of grant that required like less specificity in how you were going to track outcomes and that sort of thing. So the operational grant is designed with an additional rubric on it that includes things about how long it's been delivering the service, what its budget is, and then for the first time, there's an explicit minimal criteria for an application on a CRC grant. And that is if the budget for an operational grant organization, if their yearly budget is under 500,000, it goes under the U category in the rubric, which is unacceptable and disqualifies it. So we have to be very
That's
What?
talking just for
operational grants, just for operational grants. So that's the only major difference, and it's important we understand that, because if you're scoring the rubric on this, that has to be kept in mind. It's slightly different than how the other rubrics have been, and it was advised to me by Brian as being the best way to get what we were asking for, which is these larger scale grants to organizations that need it for general support of their operations and capacity.
Right. But that is.
I don't get that. You're gonna have to explain that part to me. What is
So-
this cap and minimums here?
So 3 grants, remember, we set up 3
Right.
grants.
I've
where-
got them up in front of me.
Okay. So the first grant is the programming grant, that's the
Right.
CRC grant. Nothing changes of that except for the upper cap, which we discussed at the previous meeting, will be 100, no more than 100,000 for any individual grant application.
I still had trouble with that, but keep going.
The next one is the substance misuse grant. The substance misuse grant, same thing we've been doing before. It has to be kept separate because of the funding sources.
Right. I
The
know that.
final one is the operational or capacity grant, which has one additional rubric. It has slightly different questions because we're not asking about a program, we're asking about the organization, and this funding can be spent to support the operations of an organization, not any particular program. Because we wanted that to benefit, that was beneficial for the larger organizations that have been applying for largely for set programming that have been using this funding to support operations anyway. We had to make sure that there was a rubric that evaluated how well it fit what we wanted from the operational grants. Does that make sense,
That's not
Linda?
what I'm asking. No, I'm asking, you said 500,000. If you're not over 500,000, you can't apply for that particular grant. We have
Correct.
smaller people
And they
that
are.
don't have that are
And
organizational.
Linda,
and we're-
they will.
What are we
apply-
doing?
They will, we are doing exactly what we've always done, which is allow them to apply to the CRC grant for programming.
Right. So they will,
What does the 500,000 have to do with anything?
It's the lower bound for what we want for the operational grants, which as we discussed at several previous meetings and as Brian recommended, would allow us to fund organizations at a level of their operations and not at the level of programming.
right,
Is that, this is an important distinction?
I still don't get it, but don't bother to explain it to me again. I'll talk to you about it myself.
Okay.
um,
Does I'm sorry, does anyone else, like, is that, because this is sort of important. I don't want this to,
I didn't get it at first, but now I do.
okay.
okay,
And if anybody has any any additional questions or wants to know like what the deal is on that, seriously, call me, because this is a relatively large change in how we do it. We need to understand the implications, especially before we go into evaluation.
we've talked about other criteria and,
Might be easier if we look at the criteria.
yeah, it was potentially how long has a organization been in operation? We've been, said, well, that's part of what adds to it, but it basically is, it has to be an established organization and the criteria seem to fall better into what their budget is for the year. We have new organizations that potentially could say, well, yeah, I need it just to get off the ground and running. But I think that it's safer for us to keep that into a program. We will fund a program and, for new organizations, I think there's enough opportunity that they can do that.
Oh, yeah, well, and an agency that is the first year could apply for $100,000 grant. Their proposal and support could be completely in excess of we want. We could grant them that money. It would just be a programming grant, not an operational grant.
Right.
That just means that there's slightly different reporting requirements and that there's slightly different, you track the outcome of the program, not of the whole organization.
Right. And I do want to just clarify something because an operational grant still has the responsibility to report outcomes, to set up a, what I'm looking at, all the other, not just, I've lost it, excuse me. And I'm not seeing it here at the moment, but sustainability, they're still gonna be providing a quarterly report. And it's basically, this is the money we've been given, this is what the activity in first quarter, second quarter, et cetera. So they're still reporting back. It's not a get out of jail free card.
There's only additional requirements to
Right.
this, no lesser ones.
Right. Right. And, you know, once again, at this point, these are draft documents. And they need to be reviewed and, you know, we'll get, you know, the final, blessing and, you know, now we can, you know, go on to just the release date we have on here is October 3rd. And, that will give us a few weeks of just hammering these out and nailing it down. October 3rd with a month for submission on November 3rd. What's gonna happen between November 3rd and October 3rd and November 3rd, we will be doing a bidders information session, which is gonna be extremely important. And I think even before we get to that point, Jericho will be entertaining calls and meetings. If someone is confused, can I apply for an operational grant over the program grant? So before someone goes down the road and then we realize it's not appropriate, you know, the intention is to have enough information out there.
And it was the whole idea is so that we can fit this alongside the existing grant process. So if people are too busy to take on board the operational grant, they just apply for a programming grant in exactly the same way that they always have.
Right.
With the addition of the new rubric, which is on our end. I think we also would probably want to have our date for the bidders information session at least partially ironed out ahead
Yes.
of next week so that we can communicate that out to recipients.
Yes.
And I think that we can really, I think there's a big opportunity to do education alongside the applicants so that they know what we want, we know what they're saying and that kind of process. Because everything I've learned about grants in the last several years is that grantee and grantor relationship should be as close as possible, so that there's no miscommunication and no misunderstanding. Sorry,
Okay, Linda?
This is why some of us wanted it held off enacting this until next year. I foresee an awful lot of issues here with people getting confused, and also the short turnaround for a month. I thought
A month
normally we try to get
longer-
this stuff out to them in like September kind of thing. So they got at least some time. We're a little bit later being in November because we also have to get it through the selectmen and the FinCom in order to get it on the warrant. So November, I assume we're going to be having interviews during holiday season.
So Linda.
And I think that's going to be a tight for these people if they don't understand it.
Linda, it falls within the same 2-week period as last year. The last 3 year, the first time we've given a month to do an application was last year. Previous to that, it was 2 weeks. And additionally, it is what it is on the timing. We were given a timeline. We can't go back in time and change the release dates.
Right, right.
I just
But,
think we're
yeah.
going to have a lot of problems.
Well, the intention, I think we've got a couple of things that we're doing the right way. By having a commitment on the dollar amount is an important thing and to communicate that. Next week, we will have probably representation of the majority of the people that may be applying, that applied this past year and also that would be applying. And the intention is to do just a brief, you know, of a timeline and what's gonna happen. We're not gonna turn that to the information session, but just as announcing what's coming next and putting a date in front of them of a bidders information session will take place on X amount date. And, you know, that any questions, you know, please do reach out, that we're available to answer questions, et cetera.
Did we nail down a location? Because I know that I never
Yes.
heard the result of the location.
Right, we talked about that in July, and it is gonna be at the Dreamland in the Harbor Room, which is
Okay.
accessible, and there's an elevator, et cetera, so the Dreamland, and thank you, Joanna, for making that contact, has graciously offered the Harbor Room and from 10 to 12 next Friday morning. And we hope that everyone can be in attendance. And also Council for Human Services is also invited to be there to thank and support our not-for-profit community that has been awarded grants this year. Okay. So, but Linda, another point that you made is deliberations and interviews during the November and December, because the goal is that the report has to be ready by December 31st to submit
Right.
to FinCom and to town. So I know that our meetings are Friday morning, that's what we have established, but when I look at a calendar between November and December, there are 3 Fridays that typically are taken off the schedule. First one being Thanksgiving, it's a holiday, so we would not meet on that day. And then the following week after that is Stroll, which is a big Friday, and the people have commitments, and then the following Friday is December Delight, so that's 3 Fridays that we cannot meet. So
Both
what
of which I'm running, so that's why I'm
I
out
know.
those Fridays.
Right, so what I'm gonna ask is if we can look at our calendars and come up, I think it works really well having a set meeting time and date. But what I'm gonna ask for November and December, if we can consider another meeting time during the week. So we don't have to miss those 3 weeks, because between grant reviews that we'll do, interviews and then deliberations, we're gonna need all the time possible. So, would someone like to make a suggestion for, we still could meet on Friday morning on the weeks that aren't conflicted, but another meeting time during the week, and I'm gonna leave that to the people who have more set responsibilities than I do, and Joanna,
Well,
Lee.
Veronica, what are you thinking? I mean, I would tend, so if the grant applications are all due to us by, what's the date, November 4th,
November 3rd,
November 3rd?
right? The first meeting would be on the 7th, where we would have received all the grants, so November 7th, we can slice, dice, and look at them then. So that would be the first.
Well, one of the thoughts that I'm having is what about in terms of the review process, right? How are we gonna slice and dice this in a different way than we have before? Are we gonna look at each category of grants? Because now there's 3. So would we look at 1, 2, and 3? Because one of the thoughts that I have is, what if we just found one day with a longer period of time that we dedicated to each of the grants, as opposed to relying on the Friday meetings, right? So if we could identify, I'm just gonna throw this out, like say it's Monday the 10th and Monday the 17th, that we take 4 to 6, right? Those 2 days, and focus on one of each of those categories of grants, or maybe it's longer, maybe it's a Saturday morning. Because this is kind of how the FinCom does it too, is that when we have larger groups, larger chunks of information, we'll take a meeting that's bigger outside of our regularly scheduled times to adjust and do that.
Okay. That's a perfect suggestion. If, we look at, a late afternoon meeting that could extend after 6.
Yeah.
Or a Saturday. I don't know what is better for people. Um.
I-
Anyone want to add some comments into that?
I have trouble late afternoons because I have meetings all the time. I've got Concom, I've got HTC.
Yeah.
So if you're talking Tuesdays and Thursdays, forget it. It would have to be like an alternate Tuesday, Thursday kind of thing. And then I've got CRC, and I've got COA at 3 o'clock on Wednesdays, the first Wednesday of the month. So late afternoon is difficult for me.
Can you do could you do a Saturday, Linda?
I'd rather not, but I could. I work all weekends, but I could. If we're talking November, I could probably do a Saturday.
So we
Not a
have,
Saturday in December, not one single Saturday in December.
It's the
Oh,
same
no.
for me. I mean, because I'm gonna end up with December delight as well, so. And that is a big commitment, so I understand that.
That's my
So-
19th year running it, so yeah.
Yes, and it's my last kid.
I haven't had a kid in that school in 10 years and I'm still doing it.
I know, well, you're a saint for doing that, Linda.
I'm stupid.
so if we're collecting the grants on the 3rd by end of day, that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks before the due date, more or less,
Right.
not including any complications around holidays.
Mhm.
My belief is that it will take us. The longest one is going to be the programming grant category, because that will
Right.
likely, if it goes the way that I'm anticipating, we'll have between 14 and 18 applications in that category.
Right,
The organizational grant is gonna be most likely organizational and operational and substance misuse together will have fewer applications than the programming one. So my guess is we could probably do that in one day. And then we could do one day for the programming grants, one day for substance, and the other one, by day, I mean like 3 to 4 hour meeting.
Right.
So
Is that
And-
including the interviews or is that just our
that is
deliberations?
that's just deliberations. That would be outside of any any of the interview processes, which would likely have to take place between the 17th and 28th of November.
what I would recommend is. In the past,
No.
we have divided up the grants and assigned. Members of this committee to do a deep dive in a group of applications. I think that what we will. I'm suggesting for this year is that we all do substance misuse and the operational. And then with the program, which could be as many as 14 to 15, 16, 17, we divide that up, so 2 people will do 5 or 4, as opposed to having to do a deep dive. I expect everyone to read them all, but as far as the deep dive, just for a handful.
So I think
I mean, can I make a suggestion about that too?
Yeah,
There's probably 3 or 4 applications that we get year over year that we never haggle over. Right? I think we should take them out. We should hold them aside and allot 10 minutes to discuss those. I mean, we all know what they are. South Coast Legal, some of
Right,
those
yeah.
small things that
Not
we're
as big.
always going to give money to because they need it and it's a nominal request. So if we, I mean, Jericho, I don't want to tell you, like, this is just a suggestion, but I think if you spent a little time organizing when the grants came in and when you gave them to us, right, you separated out, you created some categories. Maybe we should discuss and agree to what they are. And then you
Mhm.
separate the grants out as to what they are. And you make a recommendation to us as who needs to be interviewed. Because I think like South Coast Legal, and there's 3 or 4 others that I'm not going to remember off the top of my head, they go into, you know what I'm talking about, right? Does that make
Star-
sense to everybody?
Small friends, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, the
I-
vineyard's an example.
MTV,
The guys
yes,
that-
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, there's like 4 or 5 of these guys that are 10,000 or less kind of guys
Right, exactly.
that we all
Let's just-
know year after
we'll do-
year, get them over
Yeah.
here. That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
And we
So-
don't really need to go there with those guys.
Right.
I like the idea, and when I put the packet together with all the applications to distribute out to you guys after we collect them, I'm willing to put categories on them, but I have a strong feeling that I should not be recommending any individual agency, given my position.
No, I'm
Right,
not
no, no, no.
asking for a
That's fine.
recommendation. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
Okay.
is I'm suggesting a new way that you organize the grants as they come to us by category. So not,
Okay.
recommendation's the wrong word. So category of the 4 grants or 5 organizations that we know because we've done this for years now. These are the people who are getting this money so that they need the least amount of scrutiny or time spent. Then there's the category of grants that we are all very familiar with, okay? And then there's
Right.
a category of grants that are new and who are going to require more time from us to evaluate. And I think that that's how we should structure our meeting time so that we're spending the most time on the people who are new and need the most scrutiny. And yes, there may be people in the middle who need to come and talk to us, but there are also 4 or 5 people who we really don't need to talk to.
Exactly. And I think we need to make sure that people understand that a interview is not mandatory
Does not impact the value.
and it doesn't impact the evaluation.
Right.
Because I know last year that was a question that there was really nothing we needed to know in addition, but people were anxious because, well, you didn't interview me. Does that mean that I'm not being considered? So we also then will not have, we can take probably those same group off of the interview process unless they want to come in.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I'll have to think about what those like the categories are. But I think there's a way for me to denote the ones that not require extra scrutiny, but that are more complicated, I guess, from an application point of view.
Right.
And I think that's something I'm comfortable doing. I just as a general thing,
Bless you.
I believe it is important for me to be separated out from the evaluation process because of, okay.
Yes.
But other than.
Nobody's
yeah, I think
discussing,
that's a
nobody's
solid-
telling you to do that. It's just that having an organizational packet, everything sort of separated into those groups will also maybe help some of the newer people who've never had any contact with any of these people and say, look, these are people that we see every year.
I can put like.
Suzanne?
Yes, I
sorry.
have a question, being new to the CRC. What I'm hearing is that and I see by the calendar that the bids or the proposals come in first, and then the interview process happens. And how does the interview process take place during a meeting like this or separately?
Yes, and before we get to the interview dates, we have discussions during our meeting of what additional information do we need? And we come up with a list of questions that we give to the organization ahead of time. So when they come in for an interview, they're prepared that we may have questions on their budget. We may have
Okay.
questions on the program, whatever. So
It's-
first it is we get the grants in on November 3rd. What we're gonna suggest is that they get divided up
By sector.
into more manageable bites. And we'll get those, then we will meet and we will divide up the program grants that aren't the ones that we say we really don't have to go deep into. We'll divide those up, say if there's 12 of them and there's 6 of us, that you will have 2 that you will do a deep dive in. So you could make phone calls if you want ahead of time and talk, or just really scrutinize it. We will all have read it, but the expectation is you come with some questions of additional things that are needed. We can then add to it. Then the next process is we will set up interviews, and it depends on how many we're doing. We could do it in one day. It may be 2 days. We need to give people.
Traditionally, it's been 2 days, and the earlier we can settle on dates for that, the
Right.
better.
Right, and I would highly recommend that the organizational grants, we do want to interview those folks since it is.
Yeah.
First of all, I think the dollar amount's gonna be warranting, whatever, and also that it is different, so we will interview all of them and, substance misuse may be the same thing,
That one
then-
tends to have more new programming
Right.
attached to it. I think
Right.
we've had substantially different applications from the same agencies a lot of the time, year after year. So I think that I do think the suggestion of like, it'd be something like years submitting this program would be one of the categories I would add, and that would be like, so Suzanne, it's sort of like how when we were doing a procurement for the needs assessment, we all read the applications, then we had questions, we got those questions in writing, we sent them out, and then they got a chance to do a follow-up on those questions. The subgroups for each of the programming grant or whatever applications would meet, they would generate, not meet, but they would generate questions that they would like answered. We communicate those to the committee ahead of time, then, sorry, not to the committee, to the applicant before the interview, then they get a chance to answer those questions and we can see where it goes and follow up from there.
Okay, I get that part. I just was curious about if we had to set up different meeting times for interviews.
Ideally, we fit it in-
Sometimes.
Sometimes, but ideally, they have to be in, or they have been by tradition, a posted and recorded meeting.
Yes.
And they must be included in the minutes of the process, because this does technically fall as a type of procurement.
Right,
Okay, thank you.
all right, so. a
One more thing on this one, though. It doesn't preclude when we have the interviews and we have questions
Yeah.
that we need them to give us more information. They are allowed to give us more information, even if it's after the deadline. Because a lot of times you'll find stuff during your interview process that, oh, we need that answer to actually make an informed decision about funding. So
Yeah.
it never shuts the door on more information.
You
Yes.
could be adding information up to the day of deliberation. Until we, like, if they send a an email 5 minutes before we decide the allocation for that, or the recommendation for that year, we would include that information in the deliberation process.
all right,
Okay.
so,
Mhm.
can I have a recommendation for another time beside Friday morning from 9 to 11? What would be best, and we can maybe vote on that. So Joanne, I see your hand up.
You are muted, Joanna?
Sorry, can we just kind of go through this month by month? So in
Okay.
September
Yeah.
then, okay,
I'm
let's
having
look-
trouble doing it this far in advance because
Yeah, me too.
I don't
but-
know what's happening.
But let's
Right.
just, so that's why I'm saying, let's just go through month by month, week by week and make a
Okay.
schedule. So if we're looking, so we know we have next Friday, the
Right,
12th.
that's September 12th.
Do we
Yep.
need to meet on the 19th?
I don't think so because, well, does
No, I don't
anyone?
think so either, right?
Yeah,
That seems,
okay.
no. Do we need to meet on the 26th?
I don't
Why?
believe so. Nothing will have changed.
Right,
Honestly, I think from the 19th, the 26th, the 3rd, we will not need to meet. I don't think we need to meet maybe much in October because we'll be waiting.
Grant is at, well, we will have
Bidders
the bidders
information
information session, so we are gonna have to do a bidders information.
So when are we going to do that?
It needs to be between the release on October 3rd. And ideally, it should be with at least 2 weeks left to develop.
I
So
would say it should be the week of October 6th,
6th, okay, that works.
all right?
Not here.
So,
I'm in New Hampshire and that is Columbus Day weekend that Friday.
Yeah, I think
I would
that's
do it
bad.
the 17th, which
Yeah,
is 2 weeks before it's due.
I agree
That's
with
fine.
Linda.
okay, so October 17th, We-
I have a conflict on that Friday. It's the Harbor Health Symposium. But can we do it another day that week?
Yeah, and we
Yes.
can do it at a different time too, if you'd like to.
so Monday, the 13th is a holiday. So the 14th, 15th, 16th. Do you want to recommend a time?
I can do the 16th, but it would have to be earlier in the day. I have Concom at 5.
That works for me too.
So we'd like to tentatively 9 on the 16th
9 to 11 on the 16th?
for bidders information session?
Yep.
Is
Yep.
that the, excuse me, is that the day we had picked for CHS, our third? When are we meeting in October?
I don't have,
I don't think we made a date,
23rd.
but aren't we doing we changed it so it's not the last?
23rd,
I think
12
the
to 1.
Oh,
20
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I could do
So
the
six-
16th.
So Binner's information session will be October 16th, which is Thursday, from 9 to 11 AM.
Okay,
All right, so that'll
Alright.
be meeting after that.
so then the next Friday, would we meet on, we don't need to meet on the 24th?
I don't
No.
believe so. I don't believe 31st either.
Okay,
So
now,
now we're into November.
okay, 1 second on that. Quarterlies, when are quarterlies due?
October 10th, I
July
think.
10, July, so it is October. So could we also on the 16th potentially, no,
What is it? The due date, the end of the quarter, I think the end of the, yeah, I think I can grab it too.
August 31st is the end of that quarter.
Yeah, we have the end of the quarter and then the actual due date, which is like a week afterwards, and I think that pushes us into November for the
August,
reporting term.
September. So that, no, it's July, August, September is the first quarter, so October, the middle of October.
Let me just see what's on the because it doesn't quite line up.
Okay,
Oh, come on.
could we wait until, say, November 7th
Yes.
for the
So
quarterlies?
we must determine if we are going to release the money within 30 days of the end of the quarter, which technically means until December, and then there's usually a week, depending on where the warrant lies. So waiting till November will not impact
Okay,
the
all right,
release of those funds if we do.
okay.
There it is.
So I don't think that there's a reason to have another meeting in October after the 16th if we can do the quarterlies the beginning of
the
November.
7th.
Yeah. Right. So Joanna, do you want to take it? I'm sorry for that
Yep.
interruption.
Yep,
Right.
all right, so now we're at, it's after the 4th. There's the Friday, the 7th, so there's really just 3 Fridays, right?
Yeah.
Right,
So I think we need to pursue the idea of how are we going to structure these meetings? So I personally think there should be one meeting for each category of grant, and then we should designate one day for interviews.
okay. So November 7th, 14th, 21st,
That's
be-
fine.
all right? And potentially on November 7th, do we want to do maybe let's do substance misuse on the 7th, the 14th do operational, and 21st do the program?
Right. And then when will we do the interviews?
All right,
Boy, then it
interview-
becomes a problem.
Yeah, this is what I see too.
Yeah. The following week is Thanksgiving, and I don't think,
Can you
No.
do the interviews? Sorry, like, let's say you're doing the substance misuse. Can you do the interview midweek, the next week? And then the operational midweek, the third week and then like that, do you know what I'm saying? So we don't have
Yes,
to
I-
go to another Friday?
We still have to review them and we're not getting them until the 7th. So
right,
that we have to
Right,
sit down
that's what I'm
and
saying,
look at them.
after the,
I can get, so that we get it up, they come in on the 3rd. I can collate them and get them out. So just as a heads up, this is respiratory disease season as well, and I'm running the vaccine effort, so there's a lot of commitments of time. I still think we can get the collated packets for each of the grant categories with some degree of categorization from me by the 5th. I don't know if we're just talking about one category, we have averaged between 3 and 5, I'm sorry, we've received between 3 and 5 substance misuse grants a year for the last couple of years. So that's probably gonna be on the lighter lift side in terms of prep. The other thing I can do is I can get the substance misuse packet done as quickly as I can, send that out to you, and then start working at the next one subsequently, so that like
Right,
we're
right.
still
You're
peddling.
doling it out, so if we just look at substance misuse that first week, then you get that to us and then the following, by the end of the week.
So may I ask a question? If say I get the substance misuse grants out to you, and then so the substance misuse packet out to you guys, then on the 7th, you guys have a meeting. The meeting is gonna be to discuss what questions we want to send out for interviews, and this is Suzanne's proposal, the following Wednesday.
What?
So this was from Suzanne, like,
Right, to do our deep dive on the Friday and then have interviews the following week, midweek.
that would mean that just
Uh.
as a heads up, in terms of a time commitment, that means it's gonna be
Meetings.
you're averaging 3 to 4 hours a week on this, which
Right.
is okay if it's your primary job, but
Right.
I'm not
It's
sure.
not.
Yeah,
It's okay for me and Lexi,
Right.
not for you guys. So I just wanna, I like that idea. I think it'd be incredibly, it would really quickly. We get through it really quickly. I'm not sure how like, I don't know if that's gonna be sufficient time for us to do
Well,
this.
let me ask a question. What if we just said that on Saturday, the 15th, from say 9 to noon, we did everybody's interviews? And we let them know that far in advance. All interviews will be that day.
Has to be in a publicly accessible space, and usually,
Yeah,
as
we
you
can do it in the
know,
trailer.
the buildings are closed.
I
Well,
can get into
this
the
is-
trailer. That's not a problem.
the trailer
Be in
can
the
be,
trailer.
Yeah.
and we won't have any conflicts with,
Other-
having for that day either.
Yeah,
because-
no,
right,
and we'll figure out.
yeah,
I think that is a reasonable proposal. The main concern would be that we then have to have all of our questions in advance, and we will only have 2 weeks to get the questions in advance.
right.
I mean, obviously, you can follow up on things that you learned. We could decide a standard set of questions that we might want to, like, we can come up with questions in advance to prepare them, and then have any specific questions in excess of that. So like, we can kind of work our way around that, but it's in the agreement, it has been in the agreement for years. They need to, like, if we have follow-up questions in an interview, we need to provide written questions for them before, so they can prepare for it.
Yeah,
well, we did, so basically what we did last year is we took that because I wrote the questions, we put that document directly in the thing. Why wouldn't we just use those same questions?
And that question, at that point, you get into why are we doing interviews at all?
Yeah.
Right,
Is a meaningful question. So if there's any, we still need the time to read the thing to come up with any questions that are not included in the application.
right, but the reality was, Jericho, is many people didn't answer those questions in the application.
exactly.
You can't account for that, because that's gonna happen every year. It always does every year. We always have questions that they have to answer after their interviews. There's no way
Right.
to actually preclude that from happening.
I agree with Linda, and I think that those should, I mean, basically, anybody who is applying for these grants should be able to answer and give us those 5 basic metrics, right? How many people have you served? How much other grant money have you raised? I mean, I can't remember the rest of them off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But they're very basic use questions.
Right,
Yeah, like what other efforts are you
Grant.
making to raise
Raise
funds?
money,
Because we've had
exactly.
these questions for everybody. Some have that answer already, and some have, oh yeah, maybe we should do that, like
Exactly.
substance abuse. So it's, there's always that gray area that they haven't thought of something.
right.
Oh, yeah, and then you might learn something during the course of figuring out the answer to, like, the interview is a good thing. It's important. It's necessary for us to give them advance warning and some kind of questions to prepare for ahead of time. If we have questions.
It also
um,
gives them some comfort that we are doing due diligence and they have a forum within which to present their information, unlike one that went on for an hour and a half last year. There's a forum that they're being heard and we are taking them seriously. And so that's why the interviews are also, from a public relations standpoint, a very good idea.
I think-
Exactly,
I-
exactly. I just don't think that we're gonna be ready on the 15th to have interviews, because I think before that, we're gonna wanna meet for the 3 different categories that we broke down. And it's not gonna happen before the 15th, so the 22nd could be interviews.
That's the week before Thanksgiving.
That's week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that, I think that's not fair to people.
Right.
Nope.
Right. If they're
Nope.
taking
If
a
they're taking
vacation
that week
for that
off, if they're traveling, I mean, I think that's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Right,
So
Yeah.
next year, the intent this year was to launch the application by like the 15th of September, which would make
Yeah.
this way easier. It just got delayed with the letter writing and a variety of other things. So
can I make a suggestion? Could we release this earlier than October 3rd?
yeah,
There's no reason why not.
yeah.
That was my concern, is that how late this is going and how we're transgressing into more difficult times for people, which is why
Right.
I thought maybe September would have been better. And we're
Right.
in the middle of September now.
Even if we release it 2 weeks before, say it gets released on
I could release it
October.
next Friday, I think. The steps necessary, like end of day next Friday could potentially go. The thing I don't want it to come as a surprise to anyone when we're releasing this. But we also have a list of all the people who have reached out about it, all the people who applied the last couple of years, and we can do some press release and comms. And communicate out through community fund, so I'm less concerned about that
Right.
now than I was when I was working on this over the summer. If
Okay.
it fits with our timeline, because it really will add 6 weeks to the amount of available time.
Exactly.
I am pretty sure I'd be comfortable releasing these grant applications next Friday. At end of day.
The same
Me.
day we're doing the grant awards.
Right. Right.
And is
So
that
the-
an opportunity to make an announcement or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, it is, and then we still have to do our public,
bidder session.
well, no.
I
before
don't
that,
think,
Be
I don't,
advertised, that's advertised during that
Yeah.
period.
The requirements, it doesn't need to be advertised in advance of release. It needs to be run in 3 consecutive ads for the Inky during the time that it is open.
Okay,
alright, now we're going
That'll
back.
back this whole process up, will it not? It'll back it up
It
Yeah.
into
will,
more recent.
yeah, it means that we can basically just shift everything up 2 weeks.
actually, it's 3 weeks.
10, so if we release on September, that's still October. If we release on September 10th, September 12th,
Oh,
1,
that's 3 weeks.
2, 3, collect on. I'd like to collect on October 10th.
October 10th.
It's Columbus Day weekend. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. I don't think you should release the things next Friday. I think it's too soon. And I think it convolutes our meeting that day. And I think that, we then, the bidder session has to be scheduled. I mean, I think you could release them. I think we have to know the bidders' schedule. Like, we're having the bidders' schedule be before the release of the grants, right? That's how
No,
it's
no.
scheduled. That's how it's scheduled right now. So I think
Huh?
the bidder
no, no.
session.
No, we're
No,
not.
We were doing it after the release.
Yeah.
No, we were doing the bidder schedule on the 16th of October, and when was the release?
Next
The
week.
17th is- Yeah, so we're discussing now moving the release of the RFP and the opening of the RFP process on the 12th of September.
Yeah. So you still think we can have a bidders meeting on the 16th of October?
I think
No,
we do
no,
it sooner.
No, we
No,
have.
no,
Right,
much
well,
sooner.
this is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So-
okay,
so
we're
all
in
the-
agreement.
The dates that we talked about are off. We have to set new dates now. But other than the 12th, if we released, say, midweek, or on Monday, the 15th, rather
Sure.
than releasing on that day. So it's
Friday the
released
12th,
Monday,
yeah.
the 15th. So September 15th, we can do a bidders information session.
Following
the
week.
Week.
The week of the 26th?
Um,
Oh, sorry, the week of the 22nd?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't think that's too much of a problem.
Okay.
And then we
so
roll
we-
everything back a couple of weeks and it sort of stays away from some of the more problematic dates.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I'm fine with that. We
Yeah.
just need to go through the calendar again.
Yes. So
right.
September 15th for release,
Yeah,
bidders the week of September 20th.
22nd.
can we do that Thursday, the 25th, the 9 to 11?
That would be wonderful because I'm not available on the 26th. So if we do it the Thursday, the 25th,
Okay,
And what's that called? The bidders what?
bidders information session.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
will be
what's
September.
the reason for the word bidders as opposed to
Grant,
grantees?
Well,
Are-
because
it's
they're
a-
the ones making the bids.
Yeah, it's
They're
an
not
artifact.
bids, they're application. This is not a bidding process here. That's what I don't like the
Yeah.
word bidders because they're not bidding.
Request.
Yeah, I mean, it can be applicant information session. That's
Applicant
fine.
information center.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not bidding.
I mean,
Yeah.
technically, under the legal framework for this, they are. It's just an.
Yes, but the connotation's different.
I agree.
Yeah, but bidder information session is something that is used with grants, so that's, we just picked up the wording from that, but we can certainly change it to application information, applicant.
It makes more
information.
sense. Locally, it makes more sense. Let's put it that
Okay.
way.
That's fine.
so then when are they due if they're out the 15th?
They're out the 15th. I'd like to give a month. I'm pretty firm about giving a month, which
Yep.
means that
October 13th,
October 13th.
That
Which
is
is
a
a
holiday.
holiday.
That's a holiday.
It
Oh,
can
the
go- it can e-
14th.
No,
Kick it
the
over to
15th.
the
Why
next
don't you
day.
just do it to the 15th to the 15th?
Yeah. Or the previous business day. I don't think that a single day is a significant slip one way or the other. So
Then
I
go to
think it's-
go to Wednesday, the 15th. That gives them a little time to organize themselves after Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so too.
so that would
Okay.
be for October.
October 15th.
Yeah. Then that means, so I won't be able to get a packet out to you guys. If we're collecting on the 15th, I won't be able to get a packet to you guys before the start of the weekend.
That's fine.
Which means
That's fine.
Monday, the 20th is probably the soonest you guys would have the packets, and I'll distribute the packets as I get them. As I get them done with the one that we have the
Right.
specific meeting on first. So say we're doing substance misuse first, I'll get those applications in. That will go out the door to you guys so you can start reading it for the upcoming discussion meeting about that particular grant.
Okay,
Does
Mhm.
that make?
Okay.
so maybe the 17th, we could have that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
No.
No,
No.
because you're not getting us
Agreed.
the packets until the 20th or somewhere in there.
The quickest I could do for those would be the 16th. I can't promise to get them in, to get you the packets before the 16th, and I
Oh,
don't think.
Well, I was saying you get the package to us on the
Yeah,
17th,
yeah.
but we're
yeah.
not gonna meet on the 17th, but you get the package to
My
us.
confusion.
Okay,
All right, then when would we meet that following week then?
The 24th, the 31st,
24th?
the 24th, the 31st, and then again on the 7th. So that's 3 times.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if on the 7th of November, we finish our internal discussions, we should have questions that can go out at each stage along the way, so we don't need, and then we would do a single interview day.
We're back to the 15th. We could do it on the Saturday, the 15th.
Which then gives us 21, 28. It then gives us most of December to squeeze deliberations in, which
Yep.
means we should be able, like, last 2 weeks of November and first 2 weeks of December is enough for us to get averaging 2 to 3 deliberation days.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that works.
Yeah,
Keep in mind, those Fridays, first two Fridays
Right.
of December are out.
Yeah,
Exactly. So
well,
we'll
and
have
We
to
would,
do-
we would be able to have our first deliberations on the 21st.
yep,
Of December?
No,
no, of November.
So I'm really confused because we already have the dates of the
7th, 14th, and 21st
7th,
of
14th,
November.
and 21st. Those
Yeah.
are still the dates, right?
Yep.
Oh,
we
no,
would
no,
still-
no, we scrapped those. We
Oh.
scrapped those.
No, they're back on, Veronica, because.
Yeah,
it
they're all
was-
the same dates. Everybody
Yeah.
just said the same dates
Yeah,
that we already had. So I don't know why we moved everything up because we didn't change a thing.
we
Well, no,
did,
'cause
we added the 24th and the 31st. So
Right.
we
Liberation
built in-
days.
We
Yeah.
built in our deliberations is what we did. We
Yeah.
built in the interviews and the deliberations.
Right.
So we're
So-
gonna have the interviews before we do the deliberations.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Have to.
on, just reviewing this, so the release date is September 15th. The applicant information session is Thursday, the 25th of September. And this is all 9 to 11 unless otherwise noted.
Yes.
Then the due
Wait a minute,
date.
what am I doing on the
No, start-
25th of October?
Start this again.
No, okay, we're starting
no.
with September. Okay,
Right.
the release date for the RFPs is September 15th.
Right,
The applicant's information session is Thursday, September 25th, between 9 and 11.
Yeah.
And then the due date for the RFPs is October 15th. And by October 17th, we will have the substance misuse applications in our possession. And then the following week, which is the 24th of October, will be review of substance misuse. October 31st, which is Halloween, I don't think that's a problem for us, would be, do we want to do program? And then on the 7th, we do, then we're talking November 7th, we do the operational.
Sure.
okay. And then we do the interviews on 14 and 21.
What are we gonna, so
No,
we're doing,
we're doing the interviews on the 15th and then the deliberation on the
15th of what?
21st. 15th of
November?
November, the
That
Saturday.
would
We're
be-
not meeting Friday, the 14th?
Could we?
do we need to?
Well, that would be, could you want to do the interviews on
interviews.
Friday, the 14th
Yeah,
Sure.
instead of Saturday?
Yeah.
We
I
can do
think
that.
people would like that rather than coming in on Saturday, so the 14th will be the interviews.
we still have the 21st if we need it.
Yep.
The 21st should be for deliberations.
That's right.
If we can get all the interviews on one day.
Well, that was the point of doing the Saturday, right? Is I think I don't want to do I mean, I think it's not a good use of our time to
Okay.
have 2 days of interviews. We should just bang it out.
Well, if all can show up, okay.
Do
I
you
mean,
set appointment times so they come individually?
Yes.
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 Yeah,
Yeah, and we usually do like 15 minutes.
they,
10
and
minutes,
they do
15.
go, they do sort of go over too, so we have to be a little on there. Remember, the absolute maximum number of people who are realistically gonna apply is 20 as like an upper limit to the amount of time.
Right,
If 20 people apply, that's like a 5-hour meeting.
right, but we know
Some are,
that,
the ones from off island are not here. They come in on Zoom and that's usually a relatively short session for those guys.
and we also, remember, we're considering that group that we don't really have to interview unless they really want to, so we take, say, 5 people out of there.
As long as we make it clear to them that whether or not they get interviewed is immaterial to whether they get funding.
Exactly. So do we want to do 2 hours, Friday, and then if we need Saturday?
Well, I'd rather go 3 hours on Friday and eliminate Saturday.
Is that doable? I know some people have time commitments on the Friday.
I mean, that's
Fine with
hard.
Me.
That is hard for me, but yeah.
As
Well,
long as we maintain, like, as long as we maintain quorum, I think it should be good. As long as we're good to start and we get everybody has a chance to participate. I think by the nature of this, it's not, and not everybody is gonna fit in every slot, as it were. But I think we can go long on the 14th to get whatever interviews we need to get done on that day. At that point, we are in middle November and all we have left is deliberation.
right, right.
So that is ahead of where we've been for the last
Exactly.
4 or 5 years.
And by
There were
just
reasons
moving,
why we were late the last 4 or 5 years.
Absolutely.
Things
Oh,
went into
absolutely.
January and February one year. So we're doing really well right now.
Yeah,
exactly, and by moving up by 2 weeks, the release date really did open this up, so
Yeah.
good
It
suggestion.
took us
on that.
away from problems, basically.
Exactly, exactly.
And in general, I'm gonna try and get like a yearly cycle map of like what times we anticipate doing this. And like what the cycle is gonna be, and I'm going to from now on aim for a mid-September release of the RFP. And plan backwards from that.
Right, right.
Yep.
All right, so after November 14th, which we do the interviews, then we need deliberations, so,
We already have the 21st of November blocked out here.
okay, and that is
9 to 11.
9 to
That's a
11,
Friday.
We extending the 14th meeting
I think we
by
should put
Right,
that
an
in
hour.
3 just to
9
reserve
to
it.
12.
9 to 12.
Yeah,
All
and
right,
Lexi, when we're done hashing this out, give us the like official record of what we
right,
planned on.
right. So then November 21st, we do deliberations.
Yep, and we're
Oh,
done.
wait a minute, what's happening on the 14th, the interviews?
Yeah.
Interviews,
Oh, right,
From
I
9
see it.
12,
Yep.
9 to 12. November 21st deliberations, and
Got it.
28 is an overflow day if necessary.
no, 28 isn't,
No,
20.
that's Thanksgiving.
No.
Forget that.
Yeah, sorry. It's not, I'm not a big Thanksgiving guy, apparently.
Okay,
We'll get over it.
I know,
Yeah.
I'm fine. It's
okay.
okay.
So November 21st, and then do we jump then to maybe the beginning of December? So
What was
December,
the-
we can't do Friday.
What was the last time we took more than 1 day to deliberate?
Never. Because a lot of us came in with our ideas already, and one year Denise came in and had it all worked out, and I think Joanna did the same thing, and we were done.
Yeah,
And I think this rubric is gonna make it
it's,
a lot easier for us to evaluate, I think.
I do too.
Also
So,
separating them makes it easier because we know who the little guys are. The food pantry, I don't know if the food pantry is gonna go, which one they're going to, but that's another big ticket. But
Right.
They're coming to the CPC for a substantial amount of money this year. But there is we've got most of these little guys are gonna go into that one category, and that's gonna be like a no-brainer. So there may be some NAMI things like that we have to deal with in that category.
so let's do November 21st, and then let's have a separate date just on the calendar in case we don't have it done. And that would be the beginning of December 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, which is Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. We just put a date as a hold.
Get all
Well,
the recommendations out.
Wednesdays, we have Council on Aging
Okay,
at 3:00, so it would be morning time, I expect.
And this is basically a backup day.
yes,
Yeah.
just a backup date. So
The-
say Wednesday morning. Joanna,
Yeah.
would you be available just as a backup? No? Tuesday morning?
Yep,
So December.
Tuesday morning was a yes?
Yeah,
yes.
Okay, so Tuesday morning, December 2nd, as a backup, just in case,
reserve 9 to 11.
reserve for final deliberations if needed.
And then we will be done except for the quarterlies for the remainder of the year on the remainder of the fiscal year, basically.
Right, and between December 2nd and say. I'm just.
So I just wanna, I wanted to note something here.
Mhm.
So Friday, the 14th of November is the interviews. So that means that we only have the 17th, 18th, and 19th to get really the 17th and 18th to hand in the rubrics in order to have all the scores before the deliberation on the 21st. So everybody needs to recognize that they're committing to that.
Yes.
Yeah, we need the rubric scores, and on that 14th or outside of that time, if you have any technical questions about, or if we need to figure out a way to get the rubric information to us easier, we can figure that out ahead of time. You can literally call in and read off numbers if you like. We will make it as easy as possible to collect that info.
All right, and I'm gonna
I
say.
actually came into the office with Jericho last year and did it sitting at the table.
And everybody just come right on in and we're good.
So rubrics are due by end of day on the 19th
Of November.
November. And that
Okay.
way, by
21st.
November 21st, when we come in, Lexi will have it.
No, I want the rubric before the 21st. Right? I don't want to get the rubric the day of the deliberation.
Due
Ah.
date's the 19th, so we'll have the rubric results well ahead of the
21st.
21st.
But she wants it, you want it before the morning when we start on the
Yes.
21st.
Yes,
Okay.
I mean, you can't deliberate
getting it.
on grants without having the rubric.
You're
Agreed.
getting it days in advance from that.
So if rubric results are in by the 19th, there will be no problem starting the meeting on the 21st with the completed
Right,
rubric
but-
results. together.
No, I need to have
They
the
want
rubrics
it-
beforehand.
Oh,
They
yeah,
want it,
You
so
are.
No, I don't want to get it on the morning of the 21st. I want to get it before the meeting so I can review it, so I'm prepared for the meeting of the 21st.
okay, let's back it up then. Rubrics on November 18th by end of day.
we send it out on.
And
the
then you
19th.
send it out on the 19th
Like the
because,
results?
The results,
The
so we'll
results.
get the rubric results in, chuck them in the spreadsheet, and then send that out. By the 19th, that should be fine.
What's the date you want them now?
The
18th.
18th,
end of day, which
Okay.
is Tuesday. Then Wednesday, we will get the collated results on the 19th, and then we deliberate on the 21st. So you've got them 2 days in advance.
Okay, that's
is
fine.
that good? Okay. And then we'll do, in one of the meetings, maybe around deliberation, we should probably discuss, we should review the rubric, we will do a brief review of the rubric today, I think, is it in there? If not,
Yeah, it is
Just
in
so-
there. Isn't it?
okay, it is, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, there it is.
Alright.
Just so that we're all on the same page looking at the rubric. I think they're a little more self-explanatory, plus I'll have the Cliff Notes version of what the intent
Yeah.
behind each question is. And
Yeah,
I'll
it is-
circulate that out to
Yes.
everybody as a separate document to fill out.
Okay. Perfect. All right. That was very important. We've got that nailed down, and then Jericho, you and I will work on the report, and I'm making an assumption we'll have a report ready to go by
Yeah, that shouldn't be. too
uh
hard.
December, probably 17th, the latest.
What did the last year? It only took us like a week and a half.
It took us, and I think we're gonna use the format that
Yeah.
we did, so by December 17th, we can have that ready, and that will then be circulated here.
Yeah,
and
report
then-
will always go out with, so the report. We should, in the past, we have had the report reviewed and approved by the committee, so
Mhm.
there may need to be a December meeting, a very brief. December meeting if we want to maintain that tradition this year. And that would be like a remote only, like half an hour. Are you guys good with this?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That's the only thing I can think of coming up
Okay.
afterwards.
Is it possible then to reserve December 19th for a remote only meeting just to approve the report?
We can also circulate it ahead of time. People can share issues. If there are no issues, we don't need to have the meeting. So like that, like,
You can send it out to us, and then we just respond back to Lexi. These are the issues.
and it would not be a deliberation or
Right.
a
No,
vote.
can't be a vote. It's just, here's my
Yeah.
sense of the report. That's it.
And if
Right.
there's no issues that arise from circulating that, there's no need for a meeting and we can send that out.
Right,
Yeah, and that's the first day of school vacation. So that's
yeah,
a dicey day.
yeah, yeah.
I'm running
Okay.
the Christmas pageant again that weekend, so don't want that Friday at all.
Okay. But I think if we just send it out and just send comments back, I don't imagine that there will be anything controversial in it, so,
Nope.
because I think the format we did last year was good, and we'll just follow that again. So,
I mean, if it
All
was
right.
on the agenda now, I would just vote to have you do it and I'll trust what you do.
We can add it to an agenda going forward.
right,
Yeah,
we'll do
I
it.
don't want to micromanage that thing. I think you did a great job. I can't imagine I'm going to disagree or add anything to it. And I would
Okay.
just sooner have it added to the next meeting's agenda and vote to have you guys do it and submit it.
Okay.
Okay, I will add that to, an upcoming agenda. All right. All right, thank you. I think that was very important. John, I see your
I'm
hand.
just trying to figure out, did we scrap any meeting in September after the 12th, or
Do you want to do the full review?
Yeah, I could put down what I have that I'm gonna.
So
Okay.
this is what we have as the semi-official CRC this year deliberation cycle.
So I'm going to request September 25th, 9 to 11 for the info session. October 24th, 9 to 11 for the review of the substance. Grants, October 31st, 9 to 11 for review of the program grants. November 7th, 9 to 11 for operation grants. November 14th, 9 to 12 for interviews. November 21st, 9 to 11 for deliberations, and then reserve December 2nd, 9 to 11 for final deliberations if necessary.
So John, on September 25th is the bidders information session. That's the only other September date.
Well, I expect you guys to email all these dates out to us in
Oh,
one
yeah.
email.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you'll get them, John.
So
That's
if
good.
if we send a lot of calendar invites, don't complain about getting calendar invites.
Right, but I. think
I
that
have to
will-
go. I have to go,
Okay.
everybody. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay,
All right. see you
okay,
next
we'll
time.
see you next Friday.
See you next
all right?
Friday. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
all righty, thank you.
Okay, so
All
I think
right.
we just.
We've established our calendar.
and-
So now the next thing, without any other question on this, and Lexi, in a separate, not just in minutes, if you can send a document that just is the meeting calendar between now and December.
Like, do you want an email or add it to people's? like,
Email,
send-
email.
So
an
yeah,
email.
just like we make that email out of that.
Okay,
I don't
Right,
have any of that fluffy stuff on my computer. Just send me an email because I've already put them in my
Just email
calendar.
and then we can add them on. And then you're gonna have to do, of course, the meeting notices.
Postings,
So we'll have
yeah.
agendas for you for all of those dates
I'm
also.
willing to get the ads together.
Yes. All right,
We'll just scrape the numbers off last year's.
and we need to update the dates in the.
Yeah, the documents.
okay. Actually, I'm very pleased with these dates because I will be out of the country November 5th. We arrive on the 7th, so the 6th is whatever. So I arrive in Australia the morning of November 7th, so if our meeting is at 9 o'clock, that'll be 11 o'clock on Friday night, so I will take a nap before that. So you'll, I hopefully be coherent and hopefully the baby is not coming on November 7th, so that's, the baby's due date is November 14th, but I have a feeling that we're gonna miss the due date. I think she's coming before we get there in November. So
Where are you
I'm
going in Australia?
We'll be on the Sunshine Coast. We'll be in a town called Britannia where Sunshine Coast University Hospital is. And I'll be there from November, coming back on the end of January. So,
Wow.
Well,
yeah,
you can't just go for a cut. That's why my daughter's been in Adelaide for 26 years and I have yet to go because I'd
Yeah.
have to take a month to go.
Yeah.
yeah. No, it's, we've been asked to be there for the birth of our granddaughter, and I said, definitely there, and now that I have a confirmed dog sitter for that time, everything is wonderful. That was the most important thing after the baby. So anyway, moving this up just made me a little bit more comfortable, but I will be doing deliberations or whatever from afar, and that's not a problem, but thank
That's
you.
what worried me. That's why when we started this meeting, it worried me because the dates were so late. that they were
Yeah.
getting into problematic times for people.
Right, right. And, you know, honestly, once Thanksgiving comes, everything is usually a blur until January 1st. So we'll have it done before then. So thank you, everyone. So let's go on to the next agenda item, which is next Friday. Joanna and I talked earlier this week, so we've worked out the program. So just basically, I'll give you an overview. I hope that everyone can be in attendance and we're up in the harbor room at Dreamland. The Dreamland has donated their space to us, which is very, very wonderful of them, and they will get thanked for that. So we have right now about, we figured we're gonna have about 40 people. Some people haven't RSVP'd yet. But I know some people are coming that just haven't RSVP'd. So we figured 40 people. The room will be set up with chairs. We've asked them to give us a screen with a projector and a PowerPoint will be put together just with the organizations. I would love, and Lexi, I'm looking at you here, if the people who are attending, if you can ask them for 4 photographs of just, it could be stock photographs that they have of their program or whatever. And then Jericho will be putting together a PowerPoint and that will run in the background. The time is 10 to 12. I can't imagine we'll be there till 12. I figured 11:30 it would be broken up, but we've asked people to come at 10. We have refreshments from Lemon Press.
Yeah.
And so there'll be coffee and orange juice and pastries and fruit, whatever. So just light bites. Figured we call the meeting to order at 10:15 because we will have a quorum. And we probably will have a quorum with both organizations. It does have to be opened as an official meeting. So I will start with that and then, I'm just looking, I did notes yesterday on this, so I'm doing it from memory. Okay, so, hello, welcome everyone. We will have, there's people from finance that will be there, so, town employees will be recognized. Libby Gibson will be there. I'm hoping that there'll be some select board members there. They have an RSVP.
One has,
The top?
more.
So Brooke, I
Brooke,
expect,
yes.
I expect at least one, maybe 2, select board members to be there. So everyone will be recognized. And then start with just a overview of the town, this grants and how the town, and the community, graciously supports our efforts, et cetera, give a little bit of a history. And then we will invite each of the programs up. We will have a certificate to give to them. I had thought that the programs will be give us a 5-minute or whatever, but that could be a really, really lengthy thing, so.
Yeah.
We're not
So
gonna
let's
ask- we're not-
not say we did.
Yes, exactly. So it's more of recognizing the people that come up. I hope that we can have a photographer there, get the certificate, take a photograph. And then we're gonna ask them to stay up and we'll take a group picture then at the end.
It'll likely be me. doing the
Okay.
Pictures.
Kerry can volunteer.
Come down too.
Yeah, he has his 35 millimeter digital that he can do. So I'll recruit him if we don't have someone from the town.
We don't-
I would
we-
rather
it'll
you
be-
not be doing it, all right?
Well, they won't
Um,
have anybody from the town. They don't have a photographer in the town. We do it ourselves.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, well, I'll recruit my husband to do that then. And then, that's basically the program. Joanna and I will do that overview, and then, Jericho, if you want a few minutes just to whatever, but you will be, you're there, we'll be running the
I
program.
will freestyle rap for everyone.
Okay, good. All right.
It'll be a
All
good
right.
start.
Okay, yes,
So they're not doing their 5-minute like presentation?
no,
I'm
Okay,
just
yeah,
going
send
to
that.
send them.
okay, all
But
righty.
the photos in the background will be people will have a chance to see the different programs up on the screen.
I'll just say instead of
Yeah,
Right.
given-
presentation, we're
Exactly,
requesting. okay.
because, just looking at time period
Yeah.
and, I took Joanna's, lead on this one because I thought, 5 minutes would be wonderful, but 5 minutes times whatever, people will be yawning and
Yeah.
whatever, and,
Plus a minute or two between each.
minute or
one.
two and whatever, and rather than, we'll just have people stand and we'll take the group photo after everyone gets their certificates. And then we'll, then invite them to, when they come in, they will be greeted, and given a name badge and, to help themselves to some of the refreshments. And then when this is done, I figured between 10:15 and 11 o'clock, all of this is done, and then people can stay and have a bite to eat or whatever, socialize, and by 11:30, the room will be cleared, I'm pretty sure. So that's the general overview. We will all have name badges on, and, during the, social time, encourage people to, welcome our guests, et cetera, and thank them, et cetera, et cetera. So that's basically it.
Yeah.
All right. Um,
I'll do the
so,
best I can to get there.
We
Okay.
will have I can figure out a Zoom setup too, so that at least you can attend virtually if that's easier.
okay,
Well, I'll see what I can do. The Dreamland is a little tricky because frequently there's no handicap parking space available. And
Oh,
I'll have
there's
to
one
work,
right-
I'll figure out how to do it.
But we can, if
Is
there's
it-
one right in front, we can
No,
probably do it. Or
they're too frequently occupied. I can't plan on it.
Okay.
I've had my experience with the Dreamland at this point.
okay. I was thinking if someone can hold a spot for me.
No, that's not, the practical way for me to
Yes.
do it is by cab.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you, John, for making the effort, and if not, Jericho will work on a Zoom option.
Yeah, I can bring a laptop in and put it so it's viewable. It's not gonna be ideal, but
Right.
it'll be a form of participation.
Okay, and this is an official meeting then, so, at the end of, the presentation, we will just either close the meeting, or we can close the meeting at our next, rather than doing that. I think that's just.
I would suggest it.
No. You have to adjourn that meeting
Adjourn.
that day.
You do not. We
Yes,
have.
you do.
We have
We can't
repeatedly
continue
not done-
meetings. You can't continue meetings. We were told that a long time ago. You can't continue a meeting to another date. You have to
Well,
close the
we-
meeting that you're
we
in.
have- We have not closed meetings before because we have not hit quorum, et cetera, et cetera.
If we've lost quorum.
Quorums are
we have
different.
closed.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
that's all we're saying.
Okay. Alrighty, any comments, suggestions, et cetera, et cetera? If not, look forward to seeing people there. Next is new business. Jericho, any new business for us at this point?
Another check-in with the needs assessment. We'll
Yes.
have the results. We'll have the report for that ahead of next year's grant cycle. That's been confirmed. We're gonna be doing a full winter of data collection, basically. There'll be 2 targeted periods for seasonal workers and seasonal residents, one starting very soon. Emails should be going out to people who are on the steering committee very shortly. And then there'll be an initial set of there'll be a steering committee meeting probably in the next week or two, and then there'll be key stakeholder reach outs. And then there'll be a second series of interviews. I believe all of these particular bodies, like both CHS and CRC, are on the contact list. So once the steering committee is together, and we're moving, there might be reach outs from Kulik Strategies about basically doing a basic needs assessment to figure out who else they need to talk to. We've got a stakeholder list to them as well, but I found the last time we're following along one of the earlier, like the behavioral health assessment, that was the first wave of people they talked to found a second, third, and fourth wave of people.
Right,
But data collection should be done. It'll be going all winter long for local residents, and there'll be 2 periods of survey collection for the for seasonal workers and seasonal residents. And those will be late September and then March,
question.
April.
Organizations, they also are part of the, they were also being, so next week or at the information session, we should be made aware
Yeah,
of
I'll
that.
let them know. And I think there's also gonna be an announcement. There should also be a select board announcement, and I'll make sure there's a board of health announcement, the next
Okay.
scheduled one. Once the steering committee is together, then the outreach will go out to all the first round of people we're talking about, and then we'll publicize it.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Anything else with new business?
Excuse me.
All right. With no other new business, I think we can adjourn. I want to thank everyone for helping to hammer this out this morning. I think it was important, and we know our marching orders now between now and the end of the year, and so thank you, very much appreciated. And enjoy the events of the next couple of weeks. Linda, are you involved with the fair next weekend?
Mercifully, no, not this year.
Okay, okay. Is it at Tom Nevers?
Yes.
It is
So it's
Yes.
back, it's
Yeah.
back to
on the 13th and 14th. Yeah.
wonderful. Well, enjoy this beautiful weather. Welcome to, I guess, the
Best part of the year.
the last part of the year and autumn. It's just wonderful to be out and about with a little bit more breathing space and not so many cars and people. So it's wonderful. So have a wonderful day, and we will see everyone next Friday.
Well, did we make a
Okay.
motion to adjourn
Oh,
with a
oh,
second?
yes, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All right, thank you. By roll call, Suzanne?
What do I say? Aye?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah, aye.
Yes,
I
John,
was,
I,
Linda,
Aye.
Lee? All
I
right.
think we lost him a long time ago.
We might have.
Okay, and myself, so 1, 2, 3, we do have a quorum there, so, very good. Have a great day, everyone. A motion passed, so we're adjourned. Wonderful. Be well, everyone. Thank you.
thank you.
Two.
Quick question, Veronica.
Yes.
What's the quorum for CRC as opposed to CHS?
4,
4 and CHS is 6?
CH.
Sorry,
Jesus,
everyone,
five.
I'm back.
5,
Oh, we're
okay.
good. Thank you,
well,
Lee.
All right, we,